exceptional things in the community. Natalie is a junior at Lakeside Lutheran High School, and listen to this resume already. When I was your age, I had a paper route, and that was it. And by the way, I stole that joke from David Letterman. In 2023, she founded Teens for Heroes. With this platform, Natalie partners with Wisconsin veteran organizations on various service projects and speaks to groups of all ages about the importance of thanking a veteran. Impressive. More impressive, Natalie is published author of a children's book. Come on, Natalie, you're making me feel bad about my life. Lou for the Red, White, and Blue, which tells the story of Dr. Lou Harned, a 100-year-old World War II veteran she met while volunteering at the River Food Pantry. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for our first storyteller, Natalie Popp.
A 100-year-old World War II veteran who shared with me his fear of being forgotten by my generation, leading me to write and publish my very own children's book at 16 years old. I would have won $3,000 in scholarships that allowed me to further my education. I would have collected thousands of items for our active military veterans and their families. I wouldn't have been part of an organization that allows me to advocate for things that I'm passionate about. And I wouldn't be who I am today. But here's the thing, it almost didn't happen. On November 30th, 2023, I woke up and I had no voice 10 days before my next competition. I've always been loud, screaming and yelling, but I don't think my parents or family ever expected me to use it for good. So in kindergarten, when I told them I wanted to sing for my class's show and tell, maybe they realized some good would come out of me being loud. And since then, I've been a singer. So when I woke up that day, 10 days before my next competition, without a voice, fear automatically set in. What if I couldn't do my talent? What if I couldn't do my interview? What if I could never sing or speak again? And from that moment on, I was on vocal rest. No singing, talking, speaking, whispering, nothing. And as someone who never stops talking, this was very hard to do. But I had a goal. If not talking got me there, I'd do whatever it took. My mom reached out to the competition to see if I could change my talent to dance, because I'm also a dancer. They said yes. But now I had a dilemma. Do I change my talent 10 days before the competition to something I'm not as confident in? Or do I stick with singing, something I'm confident in, but not know if I'll have the voice to sing? I decided to wait until my vocal lesson that Wednesday. Wednesday arrived and I was terrified. I hadn't sang or spoken in almost a week. But I had hope that I could work it out. And I started singing in front of my vocal coach. I made it to the first big note and my voice cracked. My eyes filled up with tears and I was terrified. What if I couldn't do my talent? I'm a singer. And she told me automatically to go back on vocal rest. I then decided I'm gonna stick with singing. I could change my talent or I could quit. But something in my gut told me I should stick with singing, and I did. The day of the competition arrived, and I was terrified. I hadn't spoken in now 10 days, and I had to get through an entire day of rehearsals, talent practice, an interview, and the competition later that night. First up was interview. I had one goal. I had to somehow say how I lost my voice over the past week. Well, luck must have been on my side that day, because the first question was, tell me about a time you had to persevere through a challenge. Perfect. 10 minutes later, I walked out of the interview, my voice weak and almost gone. But I couldn't lose hope. I couldn't. I spent the next couple hours resting and hydrating for the later competition that night. And then the competition started. First up was on-stage question, then fitness, and then talent. I quickly got my talent costume and headed backstage. It felt like the numbers were flying by, and suddenly it was my turn. I walked on stage and I stood in my starting position. And it felt like forever before the music started, but then it did. I made it through the first verse, and then the second. And I took a deep breath. In the spotlight. I did it. No voice cracks, no mess ups, no mistakes. And I walked off that stage as happy as ever. I then finished off the competition, and then it was time to announce the winner. I stood on that stage, happy with how I competed, and proud that I persevered through this tough time. Your winner is Natalie Popp. I did it. I persevered and I made it through this time, and because of that, I would meet people and do things over the next year that would change my life. If I had quit, I wouldn't have be able to call myself a published author, having sold over 400 copies of Blue for the Red, White, and Blue. I wouldn't have walked away from the state competition in June with second runner-up, overall interview, and the Patriotism Brain Scholarship, giving me scholarship where I can now further my education and further my dreams. I wouldn't have met the people that I had over that year if it wasn't for persevering. And I wouldn't have been able to advocate for our veterans and an organization that I'm passionate about. The Miss America organization. The Miss America organization is often misunderstood, having many false assumptions about what it truly is. But as someone who can now advocate for what it stands for, and defy the odds and show you what it is, I'm a representation of everyone who competes in Miss America. Thousands of women across America have seen these benefits. They see what it stands for. For me, it stands for service, being able to give back to the communities in Wisconsin, being able to advocate for our veterans, people that I try to show how every single veteran has a story and how every single veteran deserves our thanks. That day, when I won the title of Miss Madison's teen, I never expected what I would gain from that year. But because I didn't quit, I am who I am today. But I didn't stop there. I've continued competing, and I now hold the title of Miss Capital Cities Teen 2025. And I get to continue making an impact in the state of Wisconsin. I get to continue on to the state competition in June, and I get to continue advocating for things I'm passionate about and being able to inspire teens across Wisconsin to do the same. If I had given up, I would live a life of what-ifs and unknowns, but instead of regret, I live a life full of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. I live a life knowing that I didn't give up. Not giving up allowed me to have these opportunities. Winning Miss Madison's teen didn't just change my path for the year, but changed the course of my life. Thank you.
Natalie Popp. Let's hear it for Natalie, everyone. Thank you, Natalie. Keep it going for Natalie. An example right there of what it means to give back to your community. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much for the fantastic